Hi, and welcome to Pour Over Think, a podcast where we have our pour over drinks while we pour over things and purely overthink. I'm Mischief.
And I'm Sherigan.
With the first part of the intro done, I've set things up so that we can seamlessly introduce our conversation topic, but Sherigan's probably aware by now that I have more planned than simply introducing it. Therefore, to avoid suspicion, he has to hear me talking about Death Note, the piece of media we'll discuss today, while I continue to perform the actual bit. With the manga originally running from 2003 to 2006, and the anime airing from 2006 to 2007, I can continue to do this whole bit while masquerading as a typical podcast host, simply excited to talk about Death Note. Just listen to me, Sherigan. I'll write my notes on Death Note by Tsugumi Oba with art by Takeshi Obata with my right hand, and write down your reaction with my left. I take my coffee and drink it.
Oh my god, that's brilliant.
We're talking about Death Note.
Oh my god, you make me feel like Ryuk right now.
I have actually prepared this bit 5 days ago.
That was so good. That was so good. 10 out of 10. I wish you could have seen my face. I was like, where is she going with this? I kinda... Oh. That was so good. Love it.
Like I said, that was my monologue. I know how to do this. I know what we're talking about. We're talking about Death Note. The manga a bit, the anime, and I did not mention it, the musical I'll probably mention a lot.
Sure.
But yeah, I actually really wanted to catch you off guard. I was like, last time I threw the structure out of the window. This time I'm not even starting with one.
That's great. I'll take a coffee cup and sip it.
Do you want to tell us why we're talking about Death Note?
We are talking about Death Note. One, because it's a pretty cool manga/anime that we both enjoy. And two, it's the reason we both even sit here. Death Note saved our lives. No, just kidding. Death Note is how we met.
Which is funny as hell.
My side of the story is I was walking into a university class one morning. I think it was back in law still, when we were both studying law.
Yes.
And I was just sitting down, waiting for the lecture to start, and I see there, sitting in a different row, I see someone in front of me watching Death Note on their device, and I'm like, yeah, Death Note, been a hot minute, cool anime, I liked it. Why don't I strike up a conversation with this person about this thing, or, well, just say, that's a cool thing I enjoy, I hope you enjoy. And so I go over there and I do that, and that's how we met. And we continued to talk from then on. In this particular lecture, we continued to sit near each other and talk about stuff, and became friends over time. And do you wanna talk about the best bit?
I mean, there are many best bits, and I don't know which one you're referring to.
I mean, my colossal embarrassing fuck up that I don't want to talk about myself.
The name?
Yeah, the name.
I mean, to be fair, it's also my fuck up, but it really fits with Death Note, if you think about it.
It does!
But to kind of give some context as well on my side, I had a friend recommend me watching anime because I've never done so, and that was, again, during our college years. And I didn't know how to start. I was like, it's not really my thing, I don't know what to watch. And my friend mentioned, watch Death Note, it's good, it's old but good. And the day I decided to start, I was bored, I was waiting. Suddenly someone comes up to me and is like, oh, that's a good show. And I'm like, yeah, I was told. And you were thinking I already saw it at first. And I was like, no, I have no clue what this is. But if you say it's good, sure. And then we got along great. But on my side as well, I've seen you before in class and recognized you because to me, you looked like an actor.
Right.
So... you reminded me of an actor. I don't want to say who, just to keep our profile low, right? Can't out your secret of who you are. But in my mind, I associated that name of that actor with you. So I never introduced myself to you, and I always assumed you would not do so, and I'll just use actor's name as a stand-in for you. And then after months of talking to each other and being friends, Sharigan goes, I am so sorry. I think I forgot your name. And at that moment, you have to admit that, sorry, I never told you. And that face that you had back then, oh god, you were like, wait, what? What? I should have gone ML. Like, it really fits.
It does fit.
Especially with the actor as well. You're Hideki Yuga.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
Oh god.
We both missed the beat. I guess, well, by then you would have been at that point in the show. You would have seen that scene. But yeah, that would have been perfect.
I mean, the other bit that I thought you were referring to was like, how did you like the show? And I go, oh, I bought the manga as well, but I stopped reading it and I stopped watching it after,
That bit.
Death Note has a very special place in my heart just because of that, because we would not have actually talked.
No, we probably would not have. So, yay, Death Note bringing people together.
That was 10 years ago.
It was. Crazy.
It was 2014.
I feel really old.
So this is kind of why we brought it up, and I learned last year that there is a musical, and I've been pestering everyone about it, because Death Note has a musical, and it is written by the same guy, Frank Wildhorn, who actually did the musical Jekyll and Hyde and the musical Dracula, just to tie it back to our other interests as well. So I was actually really excited to give it a go. And yeah, that's how I thought about Death Note in 2024. What a time.
What a time to be not Kira.
I might be Kira.
You might be. What if I am? Anyway, did you want to keep talking about the musical for a bit, since you've just brought it up?
Sure. Hard to say. No, the reason I found the musical was also through a YouTube video, because I like Death Note, sometimes I watch these things, and there was this one piece that was called Why Death Note the Musical is an Unexpected Masterpiece by Izzy is Trash. And it had a lot of views, and I was like, wait, Death Note's a musical? Weird. And I watched that video. It was very informative on how the song structure worked and stuff, and she also mentioned that, yeah, Frank Wildhorn was there, and I was like, okay, wait, I need to check this out, because YouTube never lets you have these things, so you have to check it out yourself. But I really like the focus that they put. They put a lot of focus into, I say, the first few arcs. Not even Yotsuba is in there. They kind of do the first half up until L's death. We're gonna... it's a spoiler, but I mean, everyone already knows. It catches up to L's death, and it's kind of the end there, and they try to wrap it up all very neatly, and they do so very well. We're gonna get back to that. But it focuses a lot on L, Light, Misa, and Soichiro. Sayu if you want to as well, kind of. But those are basically the main players. And because of the way this is structured to focus on just those few people, their relation and interactions are very interesting. Also, you have Rem and Ryuk, naturally. I guess the population community is also a player, but it's all about how these things intertwine and connect, and is Kira justice? Like, one of the main theme, who would have guessed, is justice. It's like, who? No, right? Death Note? Talking about justice?
No.
No.
Does it focus more on the characters then, since it's a smaller cast? Is it more of a character drama? Like, even more so than the original?
I'd say so. The cast isn't even that small. They just have a giant ensemble, basically. It really is about the concept of justice, Light, who is constantly singing about being the hurricane, the thing that shakes the world, and then his rivalry with L, who has a lot of... well, yeah, just... most of his songs are about how he thinks Kira thinks. Or if he's singing with Light, it's about how he can either find out more or what he assumes Light is thinking. So they're very heavily connected. You have Soichiro, who's basically the foil to both Light and L. He thinks Kira is horrible, naturally, because he's a killer. He also thinks L's methods are really bad. He does not agree with them. So he has a song as well where he tells Light, never cross these lines, never kill a man as a substitute to get a clue, which is referring the Lind L. Taylor incident that will also be brought up again. After this song, there are lines by Soichiro where he tells never cross these lines to Light and mentions that he does not think that L is like within these lines either. You have the next song, which is Secret and Lies, where Soichiro, L, and Light are singing. And guess what Light and L sing during the chorus? The line is quickly blurring between what's right and what is not. I don't care who gets hurt now, as long as I get one more shot.
That's cool.
But yeah, you have Light, who thinks he's a hurricane. L, who's very analytical and has some really good songs. You have him very clearly playing a game. He's aware he's a piece of shit sometimes. You have Misa, who's doing it all for love. You have Rem, who's doing it all to understand humans, and oh shit, there's some love. And then you have Ryuk, who's just freaking bored. And I mean, that is the point. That is the game. Ryuk is bored. That's why everything happens. I think this is always the case in every iteration.
Yeah.
And it's also the reason things will end in every iteration.
Yeah.
Even though the ending of the musical is also different. But if we're going with a structure, I don't know if it's here or out of the window. I think... Exactly. I think I'm not gonna say too much there yet.
Right.
But Ryuk and Rem have a really nice way of talking to one another, because they're actually otherworldly beings still. It's very clearly there, the way they look at humans. Rem is intrigued and interested after like jealous sacrifice and all of that, which isn't really mentioned, but it's kind of implied. And you have Ryuk, who's just like, Shinigamis are boring, this is boring, let us go.
Yeah.
Man, I'm bored. And everything that entertains him is good. Also, you have a tennis game in this freaking adaptation.
Oh, hell.
And they sing during it. It's playing his game. Playing his game is tennis. And it's great. Everyone watch it. You can find it if you look for it. Sadly, or, well, greatly, I can't decide. Even though the original lyrics are by Frank Wildhorn, the stage show, was never really produced. There's only an English concept album. That was, I think, 2014 as well. 2014, 2015. But then in Japan, they kind of made a stage show, and it's a really good one. They changed the lyrics slightly, but it's still the same music. You have that in Korean as well. But now, I think last year, there was actually a West End production of the show.
Oh?
But the recordings for that aren't out yet, so there's currently still the concept album, so not every English song has actually a recording. The Japanese version you can find online, which is also really good. I like both songs, like both versions quite a lot. The Korean one, I've heard some of it, which is also really good. Ryuk actor is always great. They just focus sometimes slightly different. For example, like Misa's song is very gospel and pop in the English version. And in the Japanese versions, it's a lot more J-pop, which makes sense considering, cater to your audience. Or Soichiro sings a very strict song, like very like straight-faced and classic opera, basically, like more classic theater in the English version. And in the Japanese version, he sings a very classical Japanese style, which for most Western audiences is a bit weird.
But that makes sense.
Again, I recommend the video, Why Death Note the Musical is an Unexpected Masterpiece by Is Trash, if you want to actually look at melodies and how these things work and how they reintroduce themes and music pieces that were also in the anime, because there's some really good, like L is usually piano, you have Light that is guitar, and guess what? When they sing together, you have a nice mix-up. It's beautiful. They're doing a lot of great work, also based on the music. And set design, stage design that you can see in the Japanese production is actually gorgeous. They had so many good ideas. It's just fun to watch. If you like musicals, if you like Death Note, watch it. It's great. They changed the ending slightly, which makes sense because they had 2.5 hours and they decided to mostly do Ellen Light's arc. That about it.
The good part.
Oh no, yeah.
Anyway.
But we got ahead because I talked a lot about the musical now.
It's all good.
So yeah, Ryuk was bored.
He was.
The world is rotten.
Like an apple.
Well, the apple in the Shinigami world.
Exactly.
What do you think of Light? I mean, at the start.
Okay, so, since I'm the guy supposedly responsible for structure in this arrangement, but I'm thinking, might be a good idea to give a rough, not an entire summary, but a rough thing of, okay, what is Death Note actually? Death Note is about Yagami Light, a high school student at the start of the show, or the manga, and he's perpetually bored with the world. He sees a lot of crime in it. He's like, all these petty crimes and people stealing and killing and raping people and all that. It's not good, but there's not much to be done about that. And then he's sitting in class one day and he sees a weird little notebook fall from the sky outside the building. And he goes to pick that up and it says Death Note. And he thinks it's a weird sort of joke because there's instructions inside and among other things they say,
このノートに名前を書かれた人間は死ぬ.
Right. Or in English that would be,
The human whose name is written in this note shall die.
Exactly. So he sees that, he's like, well, surely this is not a thing, right? And to tell a long story short, it is a thing. He tries it, he finds out it works, and he decides, you know what this world needs? This world needs a 17-year-old high school student to really purge the world of evil with this magical notebook of death. And yeah, that's his mission from then on out. He wants to cleanse the world of criminal elements, and we follow his journey and his descent into madness, ultimately.
I mean, he doesn't just want to rid the world of the worst people. He wants to be god of the new world.
Yes, that happens very quickly. That's a thing. Like in the first episode is so good. For the first episode of the anime, I don't know how much of the manga that would cover, but the first episode is really efficient at setting this up and basically already doing Light's entire characterization for the rest of the show. Like, it's already all in there. It's already like, okay, he has this idea, but he very quickly is corrupted by this power to the degree where he's like, I'm the only one who can do this. First he's like, I'm the only one who can stomach doing the dirty work, and then he very quickly goes to, holy shit, this works. If I do this, I can be justice. I can be the god of this new world. And ultimately that's what eventually leads to his downfall, that hubris in the end.
In the manga it's different because he finds it, he says he's not gonna write in it, and then shortly after basically you see Ryuk show up. And it's like, Ryuk here, like, oh, you found a notebook. And like goes, yep. And look at what I did, and he shows you all his pages, and Ryuk's like, what the fuck? And
you're doing some work, kiddo.
And then you get the flashback.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I didn't believe in it at first, but then I tried it, and then I felt sick about it, and then I tried it again. Then he decided that yes, it's gonna be the God of New World. It's the exact same structure, but it's just the way it is paced is different.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also very concise and tight and well written.
Mm-hmm.
I had no issue with it, but it was really fun because now that you mention it, I was like, oh yeah, it's structured differently.
Mm-hmm. It is.
In the musical,
cool.
This is just one song
Mm-hmm.
where he's like, this is a joke. Nobody would have a note like this. And it's like, what if I try it?
What if, though?
And then the hurricane starts with, did it really happen? Did I hear correctly?
Mm-hmm.
He goes from he's getting swept by a hurricane to he is the hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
Because before that he was looking for justice, which is kind of different than in the manga and the anime, because he was just bored.
I mean, I think we might slightly disagree on Light's characterization there.
The world is rotten is a thing that he says, but he is not going and everyone's horrible. He says the world is rotten, there's nothing he can do, and he's bored because he's way too smart. And he sees a Death Note and is like, but what if? Because that's why he and Ryuk get along so great at the start, because they were both bored. Like, this is kind of a similarity.
They're both kind of like, whatever, let's just see how this goes, because I have nothing else to do. I should mention at this point, Ryuk. We haven't talked about Ryuk yet. Ryuk is a Shinigami, or a god of death, and this Death Note that Light finds, it belongs to him. He basically dropped it in the world of the living because he is bored, and he was like, if I drop one of these bad books in the human world and somebody finds it, something interesting is bound to happen, so I'm gonna hang around and see what happens if I do that.
I mean, it's not his Death Note, it's Seto's Death Note.
Right. Doesn't matter.
I mean, it kind of does.
Not right now.
No?
Right now it's a Death Note.
Okay, he drops a Death Note.
Yes.
You said you would do a podcast with me. That's what you have to suffer through.
And that's the entire catalyst of the plot. Him dropping his Death Note because him dropping a Death Note because he's bored. And it's very interesting, like when they meet for the first time, when Duke shows up at Light's place, Light is very spooked by his appearance, but also quickly catches himself and is like, yeah, I kind of expected you to show up. And they talk quite a bit, and they talk about, do you really want to do this? Is this a thing you can do? Is this a thing you want to do? And Ryuk is also playing the intimidating part really well, where eventually he goes, if you do this one day, like if you cleanse the world of all these bad people by murdering them, you'll be the only bastard left alive. And eventually, I will write your name into my Death Note, and you will die. That's sort of the pact, that's the almost Faustian bargain that Light accepts here. And so it's interesting to me that this early on, it's established how this thing is gonna end.
Yes.
We know that eventually Ryuk is gonna do this thing, and Light is going to die. So it's all about what happens in between this. Can he do his cleansing? Does that work? Does that change the world in any meaningful way? And how does that affect the world? How does it affect Light? What's going to happen to everyone involved? That's the main draw, really, of the show.
I have like another small detail that I like to push because that's how I work.
Push it.
Light agrees about the, oh yeah, you'll kill me kind of bit. But he does not agree with the statement that he will be the only bad person left, because that's not something he can work with. He is not a bad guy. In his view, he is a good guy.
True.
So he calls Ryuk out on that bit and focuses on that bit over the "and you will kill me" bit.
Right.
Which is also why so many of, I say, Kira profiles and stuff were focusing on, oh yeah, you think you know what justice is, you think you are the good guy. However, what you are doing is evil, and this is usually a phrase that he really doesn't like.
No, he doesn't. It does clash with his sense of self, with his
ideology,
perception of who he is and what he represents.
Now I'm pushing the musical again. That has a song where Ryuk talks about how boring the Shinigami world is, but now you have Kira, right? Mm-hmm. He thinks Kira is kind of stupid. In the Japanese version, he's outright calling him out.
Kira is the sort of pseudonym that gets slapped onto Light when it becomes clear to the world at large that somebody is causing these deaths, and not just, they're not just happening randomly, where people start to believe someone is dispensing justice.
Through heart attacks.
Exactly.
But in that case, in that song, one of the lines that Ryuk has at the end of his song is kind of like, the more things change, they say that, the more they stay the same. You think you're making changes, but the only thing you can change is your name. And then he gets distracted because there is an apple.
Of course he does.
And he likes apples.
He likes apples a lot.
Sherigan, did you know the gods of death love apples?
I did, in fact, know that.
Oh, there was a fourth note. With red hands.
Caught red-handed.
Oh, shoot. No, I really liked the dynamic that you have between Ryuk and Light. It gives Light a reason to actually talk about his plans. Mm-hmm. Later, he's just monologuing, but basically, Ryuk is kind of, even though he's bored and very smart, he's kind of the idiot because he doesn't understand the human world as well. Mm-hmm. So usually it goes, okay, you did this, but why did you do this, Light? And then Light goes, oh, Ryuk, you just don't understand the human world. If I am the only one that likes these kind of chips, nobody else will eat them. And it's like, he always kind of explains it then to Ryuk, so we, the audience, are able to follow.
Ryuk is also the audience stand-in in a different way if you think about it, because like you established, right, he's bored, he wants something to happen, he wants something interesting to watch, and we, the audience, we're bored, we want something interesting to watch, so we go watch or read Death Note. And like even at the end, where it's like, this ends because Ryuk is bored, and in our case, it's like, this ends because we're done with the story and we go back to being bored. So it's a really cool little mirror there.
It's actually really good. And Ryuk is the first Shinigami we're kind of introduced to, so this is basically what we've seen, but he also mentions very early on that Shinigami are different, that most of them just are lazy and play games, and he's bored by that, which is why they sometimes drop the Death Note into the human world. And Light also says, oh, why did you choose me? Because again, he kind of has like this idea of being the chosen one, being the messiah, being the hero, being the one who does it. And Ryuk's like, nah, I was bored, I just dropped it. You picked it up, but like it could have been whoever.
Yeah, I didn't give it to you, I didn't choose you, you just happened to find it, dude.
And Light is like, yeah, but I'm still the best choice, thank you very much. And this is basically the whole first episode or first volume. Just kind of introducing those characters and yeah, setting up the world. It's boring, it's rotten, things shall change, maybe not. And then we get to episode 2 and we get introduced.
Go for it.
To Lindell Taylor. That's good.
Talk about it. Go for it.
I was trying to remember how it was in the volume, but basically we learn early on that Light is able to find the names of criminals and kind of like images of them, not just through the news, which is usually how his modus operandi is, because he needs a name and a face to kill. We didn't say that before.
Thank you.
So usually he got this from the news. His first test was a hostage situation where they broadcast the guy's face and name. His second test was someone he saw and heard say his name, so he was able to do that. But he also gets information on the Kira investigation, on the people that are hunting him, through hacking into the police database. And he is able to do so because his father is the chief of the police, Yagami Soichiro. And yeah, like he gets this information, he's aware that people are trying to hunt him, and he does not like that because he's good. He's doing great work. And there is a point where Japanese police is asking L, a famous detective that they've previously worked with sometimes, to kind of look into this case as well. And they realize that L was actually interested in this case because it's weird. So great match there. And we are introduced to Lind L. Taylor through a TV broadcast, where he introduces himself as L and directly calls Kira evil. Light is very angry about this. It's like, what, you call me evil? You call my stuff bad? How dare you call me out on things that you do not understand? You idiot who broadcast your name on a name plaque, introduce yourself as L and Lind L. Taylor and show your face. You know, this could have been an interesting matchup between us, but you were stupid. So Light writes down Lind L. Taylor's name and watches him die on live TV. And he wins! Great!
However, at this point, the screen flashes to a magnificent artistic representation of an L, and Light realizes he has to actually take the L on this one, because the actual L starts talking. And I don't remember exactly what he says, but he's basically like, "Alright, you fell for it, you doofus."
I mean, I think it starts with, I didn't think it would actually happen, which is a complete lie, but he absolutely knew this was gonna happen. But he needed to see it, that Kira can kill without being there.
Yep. This establishes the main conflict, really, for more than half of the anime and about half the manga, where L and Light are trying to outmaneuver one another, and each of them is trying to figure out who the other is. L is trying to find and arrest Kira, and Light is obviously trying to figure out who L actually is so that he can kill him, because he's the biggest threat to his dream of a cleansed world.
The other thing that is important to note during the broadcast, they say it's worldwide. But actually, it's not. Because L thanks Kira for, showcasing that he can kill without being there, and that his assumption that this needs to be seen is true. But he also explains to give back. He tells Kira that, well, I say this was worldwide, but we only broadcast this in the Kanto region because I already kind of saw this one case and assumed that was your first kill, so thanks for proving me right.
Thanks for confirming you're hunkering down in this region of Japan specifically. You're making my job a lot easier. And
Light took a double L.
Oh yeah, I would argue that this moment is already where Light loses.
This is the freaking best moment.
Because, he just can't. And, L predicted this with so little information. L knew that Light could not resist killing a person openly taunting him on TV, right? He knew that Light had an ego. Or he at least, he suspected that whoever was doing the killings had an ego. And he ran headfirst into that bait. He just took that trap to the face. And I think ultimately this god complex, this I am better than you sort of mentality is what causes his downfall. And had he not responded to this taunt, he could have just, it could have been a lot easier for him going forward. In fact, I think it's in the first episode as well, or the second, sometime early on, where Light says he wants people to recognize that this is not just randomly happening. He wants people to think there is an entity behind it. He wants people to think there is someone dispensing justice. And let's be real, that's bloody stupid, mate. Why would you do that? It just hampers his plan. He could have just randomly written down names, spaced them out, since you can specify when people are supposed to die. You could just space it out, make it seem really random. Heck, you could have employed randomizers to determine when people died. And it would have been extremely hard for anyone to connect these murders to any person. However, Light had an ego about it, and he wanted people to know there was someone behind it. And he justifies it with his ideology. He's like, oh yeah, if people fear the sword of Damocles, they will behave. If they know there's someone watching, they will behave. And I get to go on a power trip, isn't that cool? And ultimately that's what leads to his downfall, I think.
I was trying to look up the rule set because I actually have the book, How to Use the Death Note, where all the rules are written down in both English and Japanese. And I think you have a 22 or 23 day rule, as in you can write up to 23 days ahead. So X will die by heart attack 10 days later. So what you meant with spacing it out, which is something we didn't know at first, but Light is one of those people that actually tries to use the Death Note and all its rules to his gain. He learns that the Death Note will never run out of pages, and that if you use parts of the page, it still works. So he starts putting pages in his wallet, in his watch, and everywhere. You have pieces of the Death Note that he keeps using in front of people as well sometimes. It's really interesting. And he manipulates the death to see what he can do. So he actually tries to see the boundaries of what he can do with it, which is one reason I think Ryuk was interested in the whole thing, and one reason people were so fascinated with Light, because he didn't just write the name, no, he experimented with it. He did a lot with the Death Note. I mean, with every freaking rule. We get to that bit, oh my god, I sound like shit.
He does a lot of testing to really figure out how far can I take this, and he integrates it into his cat and mouse game with L, where he's sending him messages. He has a few inmates that he kills, and he wants to find out how much can I influence what exactly they do before they die. And so he has them write messages, seemingly random messages, to throw L off a bit. drawing attention to it. So Elle's like, oh, these must be important, when really it's just Light toying with him and testing how far he can go with the inmates.
It's more than that, because the reason he's testing it is because he realized that he was being tailed, as well, Ryuk realized that they were being tailed, and he wanted to kill the guy that was tailing him. And to do so, he first needed to know the guy's name, and he wanted to make sure that not only the person that is tailing him is going to die, so he needs to have all the investigators' names and all the investigators' faces. Mm-hmm. He needs to find a way to ensure that everyone will act a certain way, so to not push suspicions onto him. And while he is planning all of this, he decides to do test runs to see how far the death note and the conditions before death are actually working. So he's distracting Elle, testing the notebook at the same time, and making his plans on how to deal with the guy that tailed him at the same time. So it's all for like one goal.
It's all connected, man.
It's all connected.
Yeah. That was one of the best moments, I think, or like one of the best sequences in the entire show. That bit where he's being shadowed, he tries to figure out how can I get rid of this guy, and eventually the plan that he cooks up is just so well executed. It's literally...
Yes, well executed.
It's such a cool segment. It's not without its hiccups, as you discover along the way, but it's really, really nicely done.
I still think the funniest bit of this whole thing is it would have been the last day the FBI agent was tailing him. He was like, oh, that's just a boy. Innocent. I guess I'll tell them.
Yeah.
And that is the day Light decides, oh, I was tailed. Oh, this guy needs to die.
The funny bit is, I think this is probably in the manga too, but the funny thing is, in the anime, Light realizes that this guy probably doesn't suspect him and is probably gonna call off the investigation soon. He realizes that, but he still decides, murder it is, because I can get rid of the whole team.
But if you think about that, again, it's kind of going against Light's idea of good and bad. Well, no, it's not, because he's the good guy, so everyone against him is bad, clearly. But this is basically where I would say people that agree with Light on the idea that, I guess we can call it the death penalty, works. Mm-hmm. That's kind of where Light loses some of that support in ideology, because he is actively also killing, I say innocents to a certain degree, because, well, we don't know if they're innocent or not, but...
I mean, that was already the case with the Lind L. Taylor killing on TV, but...
I mean, sure. Retroactively, it was like, yeah, but he was a death row inmate, so you can kind of, yeah, but what if Kira knew that? So, like, the followers wouldn't know, would they? But this kind of cements it as in Light hasn't just something against L or whoever he thinks is Ellen's calling him out evil. No, he's deliberately hindering the police force or the FBI by, well, now trying to kill them.
Yeah, he's murdering everyone who's standing in his way, essentially.
And trying to prove how smart he is.
Yep.
Do you want to talk about the whole setup to learn random FBI agent name?
I don't know if I can do the whole setup straight out the bottle. I might have to cut a few corners here and there.
I can do the first bit if you want.
Sure, go for it. So if you don't want to know the super crazy trick that Light pulls to learn all the FBI agents' names in one swell swoop and kill them all, this is where you tune out for a bit.
Skip 5 minutes. Light sets up a date. That's how it starts. He's going, hey, I'm a student, I do all of these things, it's a Saturday, let's go to Space World. Let's have a fun day with this one girl, because I have so many girls' phone numbers, no issue at all, and we'll just go on a date. He has already written down that someone will hijack the bus that they're going to be in. He has already written down that this person will threaten to kill everyone. So that's the start. So they're in the bus. The FBI agent who's tailing him is also there. The hijacking happens. And Light kind of tries to be telling like his date that he's going to be hero, he's going to do this, going to tackle this, like in a very visible way, so that the FBI agent goes, no, don't do this, kid, don't do this. Light makes it so that he gets to see the ID of the FBI agent, because he's like, oh, I don't trust you. I don't know what if you're like working with the hijacker. And the FBI agent goes, no, I'm with the FBI, look at this is my ID, my badge, everything, look at it. And that's how Light gets the name. The hijacker sees a note, like a piece of paper falling down to the floor, grabs it to see what was written down. And by touching that piece of paper, he sees the Ryuk, because that was a piece of a notebook. The hijacker gets very scared, shoots at nothing, so he seems to be a paranoid, weird, crazy guy, runs out of the bus and gets hit by a different bus and dies. Which is what Light wrote down to plan this whole segment. And then he wanted to go home, and his date is like, no, you said you wanted to go to space. Well, we're going. That's basically step one. A very elaborate scheme to actually get to learn Ray Penber's name.
Yeah. Before we get to step 2, I want to mention that this is where Light also very cleverly uses the vagueness you can employ with the Death Note. Because in the note, he writes something like, oh yeah, so this guy who's hijacking the bus, he sees some paranormal thing and is scared of it and shoots it. But he had to make sure, for that to happen, he had to make sure that the buzzjacker actually touched a piece of the Death Note. And that was something he could only do in the very moment. So he had to make sure that happened in the moment so that the conditions of the note could be fulfilled. Because otherwise, the guy would not have been killed. And it's very cool that he does these things on the fly. Just wanted to mention that.
I think I have the rule for this as well. The elaborate rule on how this works. Also on how suicide works. Who would have guessed?
But also, this was the moment where both you and I went, my dude, why would you show him your real badge?
Yes.
You're tailing a guy you suspect is a mass murderer. And supposedly, I don't know if the FBI knew. Did the FBI know what the conditions were for murder? But like, why would you show him your real ID if you suspect him? Why would you not have a fake ID on you, my guy?
Like,
Dude.
Ray Penber was just way too trusting. This guy was like, this kid, we gotta help. Trust me. And kind of makes, it's kind of sad. I mean, even the reason Ray Penber then does what he does is not because of the Death Note, which is kind of sad. The one guy who's not controlled. But is.
Yep.
What is step 2? We now have a name. And the face.
We now have a name and a face. The problem is, of course, Light could easily kill him. But then that would only eliminate him, and the FBI would draw the conclusion that, okay, whoever this is, it has to be one of the people that Penber is shadowing. It has to be one of these people who is Kira. And so he can't just get rid of him. He has to get rid of the whole team in one go. And what he sets up, I don't strictly remember the beginning. Does he just call him?
No, he follows him.
Right, he follows him.
The tailor becomes the tailored.
Confronts him in person and is like, yo, it's me, Kira. You want some proof? I'm gonna murder the guy working over there right now. He does that, so much for justice, but anyway.
I mean, he did explain that this person was a criminal that was let go.
Right.
Clearly.
Oh, sorry. Of course.
Yeah, clearly he wasn't meant to just be a random
Right.
person. I was like, come on, man, you can just lie.
That feels really coincidental, doesn't it? Anyway.
Oh, luckily, that's where I can confront him.
He demonstrates that he is, in fact, Kira. And, oh shit, I can't do this straight. This is too difficult. He essentially is like, okay, you're gonna follow me, you're gonna do what I'm saying, or I'm gonna murder someone really precious to you.
Which was a fucking bluff. He didn't know.
It was a bluff, yeah, he had nothing.
And Penber fell for it.
Which is gonna be relevant. But yeah, he did not know. He's basically forcing his hand and telling him, okay, you're gonna go take this earpiece so I can talk to you, and then you're gonna follow my instructions. And if I see you doing anything, people die when they are killed. And then, so I had to sneak that in there somehow. So he orders Penber onto a train line that basically does a circle around the city. And he also gives him a... What is that? Like a folder?
Manila folder, yeah.
A binder, kind of, that he has to take with him. And so Penber takes that binder, gets on the train, and...
Waits.
They have to ride the train for a while. Light also tells him, hey, stay on this for a while. Don't do anything suspicious. Just keep sitting there. Eventually, he orders him to take out the contents of the binder and then instructs him to, I think, write the name of like the chief of staff or like the highest ranking dude in this task force into a little like perforated slot, basically. And he does that, and I think at that point he receives... No, how does it work?
He called his boss first to ask for the file.
Does he call the boss to ask for a file?
Everyone calls it in the end, but yes, he calls and asks to receive the file, and then...
He writes the names of the other team members into these gaps. Yes. Go on.
Just to kind of explain what is happening, right? You may also write the cause and/or details of death prior to filling in the name of the individual. Be sure to insert the name in front of the written cause of death. You have about 19 days according to the human calendars in order to fill in a name.
So what's happening is Penber is writing these names onto a page of a death note where Light has already specified in advance what is going to happen. It just needs the names inserted to activate. And because Light can't get the names directly, he just uses Penber to get the names from somebody who has them and has Penber unwittingly write them down, killing his own colleagues in the process.
Furthermore, because Light didn't know which name is going to be which, the order of what is happening in the cause of death, which is people sending each other the files and asking and requesting for the files, is going to be random. And the police will try to make sense out of this. So, like, this is another goose chase as well.
I think in the anime, at least, it's set up in the way that the first name he writes is the name of the chief of staff. And the instruction is that before his death, the chief of staff sends the file to everyone.
Could be.
I think that's baked into the way the chief of staff dies, which is why Light initially instructs him to write his name down. Then he gets the file, and then he's like, okay, you've just received this thing. Fill in the other names, please. Because supposedly, Penber also didn't know, because that's just how the FBI rolls. That's how secret this whole operation was, I think.
Honestly, this whole chapter, this whole setup, I'm always reminded. People think this is like such a great scene. People are like, oh, Light is so smart and Light is so great. And oh my god, that he did this. This is a power move. And I remember when I saw this the first time, my thought process was just like, how the fuck did you come up with such a convoluted thing? And I remember telling you something like, this is so fucking convoluted. What am I looking at? What is this? And I remember you looking at me and saying, oh, that's nothing. And you were right.
I'm sorry.
Because it gets so much worse. I remember that bit because I was like, how? What? I mean, cool, but like, what? This is overthinking.
Welcome to Poor Overthink. Anyway.
I have a pour over drinks. A pour over things. Blah, blah, blah. No, have you seen those funny YouTube clips where it's Death Note, but you can't hear the monologue?
God. No, I have not.
It's just a still of like, you have a conversation between, like, when L asks Light, hey, can I show you these things? Like the Kira test, basically.
Yeah.
You have like 20 seconds of nothing, just Light looking at L. Sure.
Because this would have been him.
Then another 15 seconds of nothing. It's just like that. There's one really good one. There is Death Note without the monologue, and it's Light trying the Death Note for the first time.
Oh.
Nothing. You hear nothing. It's just
brilliant.
Light sitting on his bed. You don't know what he's thinking. He's getting up. He's sitting down. He's not sure. And like the whole scene is actually really well done without any monologue. But then you have the L Light conversation, and it's just 20 seconds, half a minute of nothing, and you just have like the red blue filter on it depending on who's talking.
Oh, that's so good. Yeah, there's a lot of internal monologuing.
I'm gonna link one of those in the description as well, just so that if people are interested.
Oh, please do.
I do recommend it, but
Yeah.
honestly, I'm kind of pushing it a bit forward, but I absolutely am amazed by how well L did in this whole thing, because he's the guy who does not know the rules. Light can ask Ryuk. Light can test. Ryuk's not always telling him, because Ryuk doesn't really care about who wins. He just wants it to be interesting. But he usually confirms when Light is like asking or saying things. Oh, this is how it works. He sometimes goes, yeah. Or he checks for cameras because he wants to eat apples. Because Light knows how to manipulate the people around him to get what he wants. And that, to a degree, includes Ryuk. Just a bit. And L doesn't have any of that. L just has a world where everything was normal before and suddenly people just die of heart attacks. He is able to kind of pinpoint and challenge whoever is behind it by his mere small profile. After the Lynn L. Taylor incident and the Ray Penber incident, he is able to further go with, okay, a name is needed, this is needed, and it seems like with all of that, what we've seen, he can also kind of control before death. It's not about cause of death, because they still died of heart attacks, because that's one thing Light kind of keeps secret. But the idea of control before death, L is picking up on that. And L does a lot of this and handles a lot of pressure really well. Like, he's able to guess moves even though he doesn't know the rule set. It's like you're playing a game with one another, but L has never played. L has never been given the rules, and he's just sitting there and it's like, okay, I'll do this now. I can see what's going on. I can infer the rule set. But then Light finds another rule that was not known before and is able to change the game. And I mean, even the ending of this whole rivalry is not happening because they're playing fair. Did you know about this trick up my sleeve? And L's just going, fuck, this is different than before. I guess that means, and retroactively changes everything. And then he goes, okay, now it makes sense again. Oh, everything's different. Let me just look back at it. Okay, now I get it.
Yeah.
And to kind of get back to the musical, when Elle is introduced, the song is called The Game Begins. He has lines that go, you analyze by working backwards. Effects reveal the cause. For even perfect crimes have perfect flaws. And then he goes, the game begins the same way. I look for patterns on a screen. And my favorite line of this whole thing, which I think is just done for theater nerds as well, and after so many adaptations of Death Note, but in this song, Elle says, anticipate his adaptation by using all you've learned. And I mean, clearly this is all about, I need to anticipate his reaction. It's the usual back and forth that they're doing in every freaking version of it. But at the same time, anticipate his adaptation can absolutely also just be put on Elle's adaptation as now a singing person in a musical.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very nice meta-analysis of this bit as well. It works in both ways, and I really like the way they did Elle in the musical.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Elle's my favorite character in this whole thing. He's the best.
Elle is the best. He's such a good character.
I just kind of wanted to say how Elle has to work with this, because later, with Nia and Mello and just everyone, at this point people know that the Death Note exists. People know this thing is a thing. Elle did not have any of that. Elle just had to actually reach in blind.
Yeah, he had to play this, basically being blind. It was like Light was playing chess with him, but Elle didn't even know he was playing chess.
It was checkers.
It's like...
No, but that made it so interesting.
It's like the board was hidden from him and he had to feel the pieces and feel the board to realize, oh, it's actually chess that we're playing.
I don't know what your opinion on this is, but this is what annoys me when I hear people say Light was smarter than Elle. Because he wasn't. He really wasn't.
Oh,
the smartest person in this whole thing is Elle. Clearly. And people are like, yeah, but he didn't win. And I'm like, that wasn't the point, because the rule set wasn't fair.
Yes.
He had a lot of money and resources in that regard. But what Elle did not have was a freaking manual that I'm currently holding that has all the notes of how to use a fucking Death Note. And he doesn't know what this is. So he was clearly not in the know. And the fact that he was able to keep up with it for so long is freaking impressive and proof of his intellect, basically. I'm so annoyed when people don't get it.
Yeah, no. L is the single smartest guy in this entire bit, for sure.
In the 13th volume, they actually implied that Light is smarter than L, but in the interview that followed after, it was stated that L was the smartest, so it's like, whoever made this is kind of, I just feel like with the resources that they had, L clearly shows that he kind of gets it. Generally, I think the relationship between L and Light, this rivalry, is really the force, the important bit. I mean, it kind of reminds me a lot of how I feel about the Sherlock Holmes-Watson dynamic in a weird way. Not Moriarty. They make sense. That's why the Yotsuba Arc is basically one of my favorites as well. Because you can see how well
they work together when they work together.
I mean, even if they're working against one another, they still work well together. They just try to outplay one another constantly. But like, they click in a way that nobody else clicks.
They are foils to each other in a very pure sense.
They go together, which is another reason I struggled a lot more with the second half of it. I mean, to be fair, so did Light.
Yes.
Oh, shoot. It's like, you get what you wish for, but not in the way you want it.
Shoot, yes, literally. Anyway.
It's just the dynamic that they have as characters and how they work. It's so interesting because they are the only ones that actually understand one another.
They are the only ones really playing this game. Everyone else is just an accessory. Like, for L, the entire police force, they're his pieces on the board, the tools that he can use to get stuff done. But he's doing all the legwork. He's the one drawing all the connections. He's the one, drawing the conclusions and acting upon them. The rest are just support for him, really. And it's similar with Light, only that with Light, I feel it's less that he wouldn't need others, because he does, and he does use plenty of people in his schemes, but that he doesn't want people to be in the know. He doesn't want people to be involved. He's doing this on his own because he can.
I mean, he also wants to.
Yes, he wants to, but that's the thing, I think. L is like, okay, you know what? You just help me with my legwork, I'll do the rest. But he's not malicious about it, right? He's never...
He's kind of cold.
Well, never's maybe a strong word because he does some shady shit. But when he puts police members at risk, they know. And they've agreed to this. He's communicating openly enough with them. He wants the team to succeed. He wants the team members to be safe. Light doesn't care about any of that with his pawns. If they outlive their usefulness, oh well.
I agree, but I also think L still cares. He thinks the task force is kind of stupid. He says so. He's very bold about these kind of things. He's very clear in his statement, but he cares. Even if he's bold, he explains, no, use an alias, don't do this the normal way, this is dangerous to you. This is what I can give you to actually survive. When Yagami Soichiro is in the hospital because of stress, he also talks about how he should not exert himself, that he appreciates that Yagami-san wants to do everything, but he should rest too. He did not want to push this on the Kira case. And he's like, and the fact that I suspect your son might not have helped. He's talking openly about these things because he just wants to give the information. But he also cares kind of that they don't just work themselves to death for nothing, basically. I say kind of caring. Not too much, but he's like, okay, this is the thing now, so this is a potential dangerous piece. Please do not do this is dangerous. Or if you do this, be aware, this is dangerous. Or you did this, it was a bit stupid, but this is what we can do to make it less dangerous. So he is...
Looking at you, Matsuda.
Exactly! I was thinking about Matsuda's fall.
Yeah. Anyway.
But it also fits with Yagami-san's entry to the Sakura station.
Yeah.
Where he was also talking to the chief of police to make sure that they could get him out again later.
That's what I'm saying. L cares. He doesn't think the team is necessary. He was ready to do this on his own from the very start. But he cares that these people that have agreed to help him in whatever small or big ways don't come to any unnecessary harm. And Light does not give a shit. Light's just like, well, if people get hurt, it's only a problem if that inconvenience is me. I don't really care too much for the people that I'm using as people. I get annoyed if one of my pieces is removed from the board, but if they get hurt, if they outlive their usefulness, oh well, not much I can do about it, is there? Like, he just straight up doesn't care because he is the god of the new world and everybody else is kind of dispensable.
Yeah, worship is what's expected. But you mentioned Matsuda. We didn't mention Matsuda before. Matsuda is great. Matsuda is such a good character. I feel for him. Like, Matsuda is so good. He deserved better.
Right, so who is Matsuda and why is he good?
His name is Tota, right? Tota? I'm not good at names.
I don't know, actually.
He is working under Chief Yagami and is part of the Kira task force. He's one of the younger ones. He has also his ideologies as well, so he's one of the few ones that actually says at the start, oh, but the rates of murders and crimes have gone down, so maybe Kira isn't all bad. Or he says things like, maybe the police can work with Kira and we can, like, get there somewhere so that no innocents must die. Matsuda is basically there to be a bit of an audience surrogate, sometimes to kind of like be the community of what is good, what is bad, but at the same time Matsuda is also very clearly invested in justice. He wants to help people, he wants for innocence to survive, and he wants for the good in the world to happen, which is the one reason he, as a young person, kind of understands where Kira came from. Because the idea of making the world a better place and a safer place is something he also agrees with, but at the same time is very much aware that the way Kira is handling things is bad. And he very much looks up to Chief Yagami. They spend a lot of time with one another at the police station, basically, because, you know, you learn from them, you get that. And since Yagami-san is like such an honorful and strict guy, Matsuda kind of picks up on that too, but at the same time, Matsuda is also shown as a bit of a bumbling fool to most people, so it's like, oh, Matsuda, you idiot, what are you doing now? You don't get it, you're still young. You don't understand the seriousness of the situation. Meanwhile, Light and Elle are also freaking young, but, you know, Elle's still like 7 years older than Light, at least. He's like 24.
In a way, despite Matsuda being a bit of a bumbly dude sometimes, in a way, he's more on the same...
He's so good.
Like, as far as maturity goes, for being real, he's more on the same level as Light and Ella, because I feel like, you know, Light developing this god complex and all that, and Elle making this all a bit of a game. A serious one, but still, those are very, like,
Childish.
teenage kind of traits, young adult kind of traits, where it's like, I want to prove myself, and, like, Kira wants to prove himself as, you know, justice and stuff, and Elle wants to prove himself to be the superior detective who can arrest Kira and all that. And Matsuda is kind of doing the same thing on a much smaller scale, where he just wants to prove to the rest of the task force that he's actually useful and competent. They share this struggle.
Matsuda has empathy. He wants to be helpful and provides also these things that Elle doesn't, basically. Elle is very cold and calculating, and even Yagami-san is sometimes a bit more strict, and Matsuda, partially because he's still young, is this counter to it, where it's like, no, we can empathize, or we can try to understand, we can look at it from a different angle, but most people are like, Matsuda, your angle is shit. Throughout the series, this is naturally heavily questioned, because even though Matsuda at the start says, well, maybe the police can work with Kira, or maybe like there is potential, or maybe, you know, Kira might be a good guy, that has just been led astray, basically. Going a very empathetic route of, you know, there might be more to it. We don't have the whole picture. He looks at Kira still as a human, basically. Like, there's still something and we don't know. So it's a very different mindset than what the justice system that can be very strict kind of offers usually, which is, I mean, death penalty sometimes as well.
Yeah. And he also is the one that goes outside of this strict boundary of police rules and stuff, where he's like, well, yeah, I know what he's doing, like killing people, not good. But like, he's the one who raises, have we looked at the effects? Like, crime rates are plummeting. Aren't things actually getting like better? Isn't this kind of alright? He's the one who raises that.
This is now the point where we also have to say, he's the one who stops her. Matsuda is the one that shoots Light. at the end of it all, after years of events that have piled up, things have changed, people have died, and people have died for these things, and it's not better. The world is ruled by fear to a certain degree, and, they want to stop Kira. And when Matsuda is then confronted with the fact that light actually has been Kira, it's a lot. And at the point where light then tries to still kill Nier, to still do all of this and finish what he started with, like what he has, he gets shot by Matsuda.
Yeah.
And Matsuda is the one who asks, but why? Why all of this? Your father, your family, friends, people that we all knew you liked and we liked, our friends. Why did they have to die? Matsuda is shocked. He's shook. His world view is weirded out by everything. It's gone like a Dutch angle all over. And at this point, he's as stoic as Yagami-san would have been, basically. It's like he goes...
You're saying that Matsuda is composed in this in the manga, in this moment, because in the anime that's not at all what's happening.
Okay.
In the anime, he loses it. In the anime, everybody else is shocked and is digesting the news that Light really is Kira. And when Light wants to use the piece of paper that he still has on him to kill the team, Matsuda just, he starts screaming. He's the one who clocks it, starts screaming and shoots him. First in the hand, and then when Light keeps trying, he keeps shooting him until he collapses. It's about 4 or 5 shots at least. And he just, he's screaming, he's tearing up, he's like, why? And everything. He's shouting all of this. He's not stoic at all. He's completely overwhelmed by emotion and betrayal. And he just goes with the anger. He just goes with it. And when Light is lying there on the floor with 5 holes in his body, Matsuda actually steps over him and goes in for the killing shot. And at that point, somebody else shouts his name.
Okay.
And he shoots next to Light's head into the ground.
Yes.
But he would have killed him had it not been for that call out.
That is still happening to a certain degree, but not the same. He still shouts. I mean, to be fair, because it's not animated, I sometimes struggle with actually reading tone or how angry they are. If it's not that is on me, and it's been a while. But he's the one who then shouts or says, yeah, but why everything and stuff. And he's angry. That I do agree with. But I still feel like he's composed in contrast to all the other drawings that I've seen of people actually losing it. I'm talking about Light for the most part there. His laughter, for example. We're getting to that probably. But he still considers shooting Light, and he is pulled back by the others. It's not just anger, but also just realization there's nothing he can do to save this boy, this man, this whatever. I would need to check that again, but I do know that the ending is different in the anime and the manga.
Oh?
Yes, because Light dies in the warehouse in
the manga?
Yeah. Basically, after he's shot, he says, Ryuk, write those names. I can still win. Just write their names, do it. And, well, Ryuk says, well, Light, at this point, if you ask me for help, nah. It's kind of over, And I don't want to hang out with you in prison. So he writes Light's name. And Light basically remembers all those instances where they talked about what happens to people who die that use the Death Note, as in they go to Mu, to nothingness, that they don't go to heaven or hell. And with this realization, Light starts to panic and to beg and to call out for help, that he doesn't want to die, to take it back, that he wants to live. And Ryuk's like, man, Light, you're losing composure. That's very unlike you. God damn it, push it more. And yeah, Light just dies. Everyone's watching, and Light dies as he's begging for his life. And then the book continues still. Years later, Nia is now L, basically has built up this reputation. Matsuda is still working with the police. I don't think the anime does.
No, the anime ends with Light's death. We don't get to see any of the aftermath in the anime.
You also don't have Elle's silhouette there. You have it earlier when Light is reminiscing about how Elle was way better than Nier and Mello and all of this, and that Elle was like the one true rival. His one true rival. OTR.
Yeah.
Fair. Generally, in the anime and in every piece of adaptation, Light is very composed. Even if he's angry, his eye might twitch, or people will not notice the little twitches, but he's composed. However, there are always moments where Light will lose that composure, and that is when it gets weird, because he is intense. When he was angry during the Lind L. Taylor incident, he was maniacally laughing already, I think, which is always an instance. Like, Light's laughter when he wins is usually a very clear indication things are off the rails. You have it there. You have the whole thing with Elle's funeral, where he basically has a whole episode about how good it is that he wins, but he's near crying, and it's like, this is the worst moment of his life, because what now? But he's also nearly dancing on the grave. It's freaking weird. And intense. His anger when he meets Hideki Ryuzaki, by Elle also getting top marks, being there, being like not as presentable, pushing further to say, hey, by the way, I'm Elle, and after all of this, he's able to drive home in his big, expensive car, so basically flaunting his wealth in front of Light as well. Light has to go home by a subway train or whatever, and he's just sitting there composed. You see him walk past Sayu. Sayu goes, hey, everything okay? And he's like, yeah. He goes to his room, he closes the door, and he just starts screaming. He's angry and he says, I'm so humiliated. And the whole chapter there was also called Humiliation. And Elle didn't do anything. Elle showed up. Said, hey, your father's very interesting and he's doing this and this, looking for the Kira case. I have some information you might want to know. I'm Elle. And just because he's there and because Elle has resources that Light doesn't have, Light is pissed.
Light is really fucking pissed. And he's also pissed at the fact that Elle not only has the audacity to do this reveal, but that he can do nothing about it.
Yes.
There's nothing he can do to touch Elle at that specific moment.
Even though he looks composed and does all of this, you have this moment of just letting loose, and it's just a sudden intense anger, sudden intense whatever. And this is basically all throughout the show, the book, the volume, whatever. You can really get Light by watching compilation of his laughter or his shouts, because it's just those are the moments where you can actually see how he feels.
Where the mask breaks.
And all of this was just to say, in that moment at the end where, you know, Ryuk's like, oh, you're losing composure. It's like, this is the point where Light actually is, I guess, the most human, because he's so afraid of death and everything, and he's just, he doesn't care about anything anymore but the fact that he wants to live. And previously he had like his insane laughter when he says, yeah, I'm Kira, because he thought he won. But those are just very intense emotional outbursts, and I'm just like, maybe if Light had like a normal life, he would have been able to do this without all these intense moments.
Maybe.
They're actually really interesting. It's always kind of fun because he's holding back so much, but as soon as they're going out, it's just gonna evolve into this intensity.
It's just gonna spill out all the way. And it's like all this, like it's a pressure valve, right? It's like a pressure valve that just suddenly blows off all the steam at once that's been building off inside. And I think that it very much highlights, you know, Light stylizes himself as this god of the new world, and like he's above it all, like he's above the law, he's above morality even. He sees himself as this almost transcendent being who's going to cleanse and rule the world, right? But these moments of emotion where he breaks down and he gets angry and he starts screaming and everything, they betray this lie and just show that, yeah, dude, you're still just a guy with a god complex, but you're still a guy at the end of the day. And I think, yeah, that's when he's the most human, when he's not in his god persona, if you will. And we see this also very clearly in the segments where he loses his memory.
Oh, yeah.
And works alongside Elle to solve the case. Because there he's also I don't think he even once has some sort of breakdown like that. I think the only moments where his emotions get intense there is when it's out of genuine concern for other task force members and the like. Even then, he doesn't lose it in the same way that Kira does when things go wrong. And I think it's because, like with, I'm going to keep circling back to this, like with the Lindell Taylor incident, Kira doesn't like looking in the mirror. Mm-hmm. He doesn't like looking in the mirror and seeing, oh, yeah, okay, actually, maybe I am on the wrong side of justice. Like, he doesn't like people questioning his sense of self as justice incarnate. He can't deal with it.
Now I have two musical bits again. One is still on the emotional outburst. One of the final songs, Elle is singing about how he knew that Light was Kira from the start, even though things are like now going out of hand, getting out of hand and all of this. And Light is singing about how, you know, he still played it, he's still winning, he's still doing everything, and it's so great, and he's getting there, and whatever, all of this. And in the Japanese version, there is a moment where Light is supposed to have like a very high note and hold it, right? Mm-hmm. And he can't do it. Mm. And in the original English version, this is a clean note. But I actually like the Japanese version more because of that. Because it basically is the whole betrayal of he can't keep it in anymore. He wanted to do the clean, I'm doing this for good thing.
It's a very good note for the Japanese version. It makes sense with like Japanese notions of purity, right? You have like the purity of ideals, like the purity of the note that gets ruined. So yeah, that's cool.
I don't know if it was intentional or not, because if you're just following the music itself, it should have been a clean note. In the original it was, and nobody knew. And in this version, maybe the actor just after 2.5 hours on stage was done and he made a mistake. Maybe that was an intentional thing that they did during productions, because this is the first production of the play.
Really?
The other one that I realized, which was also based on a musical, the first song, Where is the Justice? Light is debating with his teacher how the world is rotten, basically. It's that class, but it's not English this time, but criminal law probably. And the teacher says, the world's not black and white, the choice not either or. And Light is singing, perhaps it's time we drain the color from within till we're back to seeing black and white and wrong and right again. So to kind of go back to this idea of, again, right and wrong, and Light recognizing like his kind of worldview and how this shapes it with the mirror and stuff, like this is a very childish view. If you have a children's book, a story, you have the villain and you have the hero. Mm-hmm. Either the musical or one adaptation or something will talk about the shades of grey and not 50 of them. Just sorry, but there's nuance to it. You don't just have criminals, but it's actually a really good song. You also have a very nice line that is, let the corporations make the regulations and all go unaccountable when everything goes wrong. Let the rich and famous get away with murder, because people are complaining about the justice system. The complaints that are being made in that very first song, they're juggling both. They're trying to establish how Light thinks, and they're also introducing the main issue in there with the justice system, where it's like, yes, you say the law is doing this and law and order, but there's no law. There's no law and order. Mm-hmm. And to get back to the end as well, Ryuk is still the one that kills Light in this adaptation. He writes the name. And do you want to know why he writes it? Mm-hmm. Because the confrontation, they needed to do it differently. Nier and Mello, none of them are in this production. Like I said, no, not one of the major players. In this thing, we basically restructure some of it, and after Light and Misa meet, Misa is soon put into solitary confinement, which happens also in every other adaptation. And she forfeits the Death Note, and Rem is talking about that too. Mm-hmm. But she also realizes that this is not going to work. And the only thing she can do is she can kill L for Light. And with Misa not remembering, Light can basically be the support system and help her, and they're still going to be fine, but Misa will not have to do any with that. She has nothing to do with it anymore. No more eyes, no more nothing. Just Light's promise that he will look after Misa. And Rem does so because she loves Misa and there is no other way. Rem does not just write L dies or something like that. I mean, naturally she knew the name as well, but she was told to write that L will meet with Light at the warehouse. There they will have a confrontation. There L will shoot Light, but non-fatally. And then, after a while, he will take the gun and kill himself. And the reason for this whole play was, according to Light, that if L is basically meeting up with Light to confront him, he can turn it in a way that he can argue that L was Kira, and that he was just trying to put the blame on Light, and that the confrontation where L then shot him went out of hand and L shot himself. So it's like frame game. And they do that, and L is being controlled. He's aware that things are not the way they're supposed to be. He has a beautiful line as well in that song. So he's aware that things are off, but he can't really do anything about it. And he confronts Light. He's being told that all of this is part of the game, that this is over, and yeah, Light wins. He still gets shot by L, but non-fatally. And this is happening, and Light is like, ha, you wish you had more time, but you know what? Your 40 seconds are over. Bye! And L dies. So Light is wounded. He's like, okay, I did everything. I can do it now. It's gonna be great. There's nothing that can bother me anymore. We did it. We did it. And then Ryuk shows up, sees the whole thing, and is like, but damn, that was the interesting part. It's kind of boring though. What else do we want to see?
No way.
There's nothing else. You know what? I'm gonna kill you because I don't want to hang out with this here anymore. I'm done with it. This is good enough. And he kills Light.
What?
Yes. Ryuk kills Light because he's bored after L dies.
Shots fired. Oh my god.
To quote another YouTuber, Just Drive Haze, limitations breed creativity. And here, with the 2.5 hour runtime, they needed to find a way to end it. And I think the fact that they went with Ryuk gets bored after L dies, because that's just when people usually stop the anime or manga, me included, is freaking brilliant.
Again, Ryuk is the audience stand-in, confirmed.
I tried my hardest not to spoil it earlier, but now it's the time because I kind of wanted to bookend that. It's so funny.
As an adaptation, fair. Thematically, I don't like it.
Yeah, no, it's very rushed.
But as an adaptation, cool. Good shout.
They had a 2.5 hour runtime already.
If you have to cut it like that, do it like that.
They cut a lot. Yotsuba Arc didn't really happen. Light was never himself in confinement. They already changed a lot of characterizations. Like, it all made sense, and that this felt rushed.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think as a choice for the adaptation, again, the limitation breeds creativity bit, actually makes sense, because how do you... If the whole musical is so focused on L and Light, it kind of has to end there, but how do you end it to still feel fair?
And it's a very elegant solution, because again, we know from the get-go that eventually Ryuk will write Light's name in the Death Note, and that will be the end of it. This is a foregone conclusion. It's just about how do we arrive at that point and what happens in between. So this is literally the most elegant solution they could have gone for. Well fucking done.
And after that you have the Requiem, which is not for L or Light or any of that, it's just humanity singing about the situation, and that's also where you get the line, feel every gentle breeze whisper through the trees as the seasons turn. Clearly implying that even though a lot of death has happened, even though a lot has been going on,
nothing of it mattered, yeah.
This play between those two random people in that warehouse didn't fucking matter. We moved on. It was just a game. But not for L, not for Light, it was for Ryuk.
Yeah.
And I think it's actually a really good way to frame and work with this adaptation, and I wanted to bring it up here because we mentioned Yotsuba before, and we should probably introduce Misa. We should probably talk about all of this.
I was like, honestly, I've almost thrown out the window the idea that we're bringing enough structure back into this to get people on board who haven't seen or watched it. Because, like, we have not introduced Misa, we have not introduced Nier or Mello, but we've skipped right to the end anyway, so I'm like, people who have never seen it are already lost.
This is all about people that have seen it. This has come out 18 years ago.
I mean, yes.
It's an adult, it can drink.
Yes.
No, but it's older than Light.
damn!
I mean, to be fair, first half of... yeah, but you get me.
Yeah, fair enough.
What I wanted to say about Misa, I think the reason I didn't bring her up at all before, or just mention her and then gloss over, is I don't like her. It's not her fault.
I mean, same, but I also feel like she's one of these characters that probably got done dirty in the anime, but I don't have the manga to compare the versions to. But yeah.
The best variant of Misa is the musical one. She has a few songs that are really, really good. And she has a song that is just a J-pop song, basically, or pop song, gospel, but it's dedicated to Kira.
Mm-hmm.
In the musical, Sayu really likes Misa Misa's music, so she also shows it to Light, and they're going to a concert. Sayu gets her own ballad, where she says, I didn't like how Misa dedicated the whole song to Kira. And Light's like, no, I like that part. And she's like, nah. Then Light goes, yeah, but what would you like to say to Kira then? Like, if you could talk to him. And she goes, oh, I would tell him that he needs to have a hero in his life. Like I have. Like I have you, Light.
Oh no.
That is fucking sad. But then she sings the song, I think, like, You Need a Hero or something like that. It's not the one that is also in Shrek 2. It's just a song about needing a hero. And the thing is, it switches after a while, and the actress for Misa sings it because she also wants the hero. Like, the world needs a hero, and the hero is Light.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very interesting ballad. I myself... Oh, We All Need a Hero is the song's name, apologies. Got it right now. But this is one version, so you have I'm Ready, you have We All Need a Hero, and then you have like some songs between Light and Elle. Also, Light only has duets and harmonies with people that he kind of cares about. I mean, in musicals you don't sing with everyone, but he sings a duet basically, or kind of sings with the teacher, because that's the establishing opposition. He sings with his father when there are lines. He sings in Secrets and Lies, which is with his father and Elle. He sings in Hurricane, which is just him. He never has a song with Misa.
That tracks.
I wonder why. Misa sometimes interrupts a bit, but that she's ignored. She has a song that is I'll Only Love You More.
Mm-hmm.
And this is basically the song after she met Rem already.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all about... And she got the chance to basically be a second Kira because another Shinigami loved her so much that he killed someone for her to keep her alive. And Rem then decided to check this out too and gave Misa the notebook of the Shinigami that died for her. And Rem, who is already interested in humans, and in the musical version is a bit more open about that because you kind of have to be loud and sing, is very intrigued and cares about Misa and keeps telling her, like, don't be a fool. She also says love makes you break all the rules, and considering the rule is Shinigami cannot kill for a human, well, that's also a rule that can be broken. Foreshadowing.
Yep.
Misa has her song I'll Only Love You More, that's after she made the ideal, and in her lyrics she goes, I owe you more than anyone. You rescue me from all my tears, I'd gladly give you half my years, I'd pay any price for finding you. And then later she goes on about how she's able to read his name and see your face. So it's a whole love song. It's actually just a normal love song, but if you know Death Note, she's just telling you, by the way, I made a Shinigami deal, please come meet me, bye. And it's very well done. And then she has another song, which is called Borrowed Time, which is what happens while she's in solitary confinement after Elle basically catches her, blinds her, binds her, and treats her horribly, tortures her. She has a whole song about that, about her devotion to not say anything about the situation. And she talks about, well, the song is called Borrowed Time, and she already says, I'm living on borrowed time. That all of this is only thanks to others, and that she's ready to die. And she has one line that I think is so good, and the way the singer sings it in English is really amazing. But she says, you can do your best to do your worst to get in my head. Like,
it is a good line.
And the whole musical has this. So if you like these kind of things, again, check out the musical, check out the musical analysis, check out all of this, it's really great. But in this iteration, even though Misa still annoys the hell out of me, because that kind of devotion and the fact that she goes, oh yeah, Light's really bad, I know that, but I don't care. Annoys me. And then on the other hand, you also have her, oh, but I don't want you to date other girls, I'll kill them. So it's like they try to kind of make her, like, to make it a bit of a Bonnie and Clyde, a bit of a fair thing, but it really isn't.
Mm-hmm.
She's just getting used. And I feel really bad for her, and I'm just like, oh, she had so much potential, but the way the women are written in Death Note is not so great.
Not great.
Right, Naomi?
Yep. I mean, the thing is, not to divulge too much personal information that's only tangentially relevant. I've been in a Misa Light situation where, like, you have someone who's really into you for whatever reason, and you're just not into them at all. Been there, experienced that. And, like, people can be the way Misa is portrayed in the show. Again, the anime is my reference for this. People do sometimes exhibit that almost blind devotion to someone for whatever reason they have in their head, and they genuinely don't care if the feeling is reciprocated or not, or rather they choose to interpret things as being reciprocated when really it's not what's happening. And so in a way, it's like the characterization, in my opinion, is done well. It's just that it's a rough thing to witness, because you're just sitting there like, girl, snap out of it, what are you doing?
Yotsuba Misa and Yotsuba Light were actually like nice people in contrast to everything else.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of goes with the theme that people that have the Death Note, which is mentioned as well, are just, seeing misfortune and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't think Misa's badly written.
Questionable.
I don't like her as a character because of the way she is, but the way she is written consistently and is written in a way where I can go like, yeah, I've known people like that. I know some people get like that. This is a thing. She's certainly not a role model. And you certainly go, girl, snap out of it. Like, if you're more sympathetic towards Misa, like Rem is, really, you're like, well, Light is using you. Light's a bad person. You really should snap out of it. But I can see you're not going to. So the second best thing I can do is try my best to help you get what you want, because I care about you. And if being with him is going to make you happy, then fine. Even though I hate the guy's guts, I'm going to try and make that happen for you.
To be fair, Rem is freaking metal, because she says, that's a bad idea. This boy's bad for you, don't do it. Misa goes, yes, but good idea, I want. And then they meet up. And she clocks Light immediately. Like, she clocks what he's doing and how he's working and manipulating immediately. And she's like, if you hurt my girl, you did. Like, that's it.
Yep.
Like, she doesn't give a shit. She doesn't say anything or so. She's like, if you hurt this girl, you will die.
Yep.
I don't give a shit about you.
Yeah, she does that in the anime too.
Yes, and I think, like, that's good.
Yeah.
I like Misa-Rem dynamic, and in the musical it's very clearly love.
No, she's this innocent girl who, like, falls in love with the person she sees as her savior, and the supposed savior just couldn't care less.
She has some issues, because she clearly has, like, jealousy elements where she's like, wait, you meet with other girls? I will kill them.
Yeah.
Because I don't want you to be with anyone else. Like, she has clearly hints of also being very dark, which is what I meant with they kind of went for a Bonnie and Clyde thing, but then didn't. But you are right, it's not as inconsistent as I thought it was. It's just more annoying.
And it's not an archetype I like personally, but I see what they're doing. Yeah.
But I like when she tried to help the investigation. Again, I really like Yotsuba Arc, which is funny. I wanted to mention that too. Back when I watched the anime 10 years ago, I thought, when I got to this point, shortly after that I stopped watching this. I stopped after Elle's death. But when I got to that Yotsuba Arc, I thought it was freaking stupid. I thought it was the most annoying piece of weird shit that you can get. now you have an amnesiac, now you don't remember, and it's overly convoluted, and I hate every second of it. I thought this arc, even though it had its moments, was really stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Years later, it must have been like 5 years ago probably, I read it again. And I was like, this is the best fucking arc in this whole book. I love it. It's my favorite piece. And even now when I reread it, I'm like, Yotsuba's arc is like freaking amazing. It's so well done and I love it. And it's just, I did a 180 on that one. It's just, I was so focused back then when I got to this and I wasn't really aware of how these things work. That this is just too complicated and nobody thinks like that, and like the suspension of disbelief, just it wasn't there. I was like, this is all getting out of hand very quickly. And rereading it just from the character perspective and what is happening, it's so interesting because it gives you like this little, what if things were different, what if it worked out, freaking Light's enthusiasm, like, yeah, let's catch Kira together. Oh my god, my sweet innocent child. Also, I love how the moment he gets rid of the notebook in the manga, he has like the etchy anime eyes. You see them like there on the panel. It's like, okay, I need to get rid of it. And then you suddenly have round-eyed boy. You had him at the start of the books, and like the more he thinks about it, his eyes just change because he's basically showing that he's evil and cold.
The visual cue,
Yes. And in that moment where it goes from, oh, I know what I'm doing, to what the hell's going on? Why did I do this? Like this moment, it's so well done. And how everyone's so confused by it.
Yep.
We have to talk about the mock execution. Oh my god.
All right, then talk
it's
about
so
the
well
mock execution. Mock execution.
Mock execution. No, it's so well done.
What?
I think in the anime they're outside of the car, aren't they? Like they're pulled out of the car and nearly shot?
No.
Is it still in the car?
Yes.
I mentioned it before, the fear of death is like one of the things that humanized Light in at the end again. And in this version where we already have an amnesiac Light who is like this, he's scared shitless basically. He's not shouting or anything, but the way it is drawn, the way he's like holding onto the seat thinking his father's gonna kill him. Damn, I was like, that's the shit. Wow, holy, wow, oh my. They couldn't stop. It's actually really well done.
That was really good.
But the whole setup after, again, let's catch Kira together, and then working together, and then being freaking handcuffed together. I thought that was funny. I thought it was funny back then 10 years ago. I thought it was funny 5 years ago, and I still think it's hilarious.
It is hilarious.
Reminds me of another thing. Because back then when I started watching Death Note, I really got into it. That's how I got the manga, because I ordered it. And I ordered like a fan-made Death Note thingy that I found at a convention that we were at. I was like, oh, it has some fun things in there, and it had some pins and stuff. And one of the batches, I was like looking at him like, okay, this is L's face, this is Light's face, this is both, this is that. And then I was like, oh wait, that's a compromising position. That's how I learned that they ship L and Light, by the way.
Fair.
But I said I like rival menses and like the rivalries and stuff. So like I do see it, but it doesn't have to be on the sexual. It's more intellectual on my. I think they fit, they belong together, but just intellectually.
Yeah.
Like working together as well. You can make it from platonic to romantic if you want to. You can read it as such because they are very close. Like L just doesn't give a shit about Light's boundaries. Not just with the cameras and anything, but like he gets close and touches and leans over his shoulder like in the panels. And I mean, they have like a whole fight where Soichiro is just like, yeah, let him do it. I was like, I'm so done. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
But like, I absolutely get why people read it as such, but I was like not thinking about that at all. And then I'm seeing this and I'm like, oh wait, what the hell is this? Okay, I guess.
Yeah, makes sense.
To be fair, I do ship it. The story to me doesn't work as well without L.
Yeah.
Or, well, Light has to suffer through the consequences of having killed the guy that understood. Yeah, basically.
It makes sense.
So it makes sense to me that people ship it and stuff. It was really funny. And I think the Yotsuba arc is such a good way to showcase the other side of this. Mm-hmm. In the Yotsuba arc, where they're actually working together and Light just doesn't know that he's the evil guy, it gives it a layer of tragedy. Because you recognize that they work well together. You recognize that they could work together. And I mean, L lies to Light. The whole "you're my friend" thing, I don't think this is 100% truth. I think, yes, they could have been, but L is aware that this is not possible.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. My read very much differs from that.
I mean, to be fair, the foot wash scene does not exist in a manga.
I mean, even if we discount the foot wash scene, which, yeah, I guess, I read it as a kind of tragedy where L definitely, like, he, for me, 100% wanted this friendship with Light to be real.
Yes.
And I think he bought into it. I think he bought into it so hard that at the end he was like, you know what? I have my suspicions. Like, the detective in me still thinks Light is Kira. And against my better judgment, I am trusting him because I want this friendship to be real. I know I'm probably inviting my own downfall. I know I am probably going to die very soon because if he is Kira...
Interesting.
This is probably not going to end well for me, but I choose to believe that this friendship is real. That's how I read L.
Okay.
In these sequences. I think he really means it when he says he's never had another friend, and he's never had, especially not a friend like that, you know, who, like, gets him. And I think finding that special someone, not in the romantic sense, but in the sense of, oh, we click. Like, we really click. This guy gets me in ways that other people don't, and it's the same way the other way around. My read is for him that was real, and against his better judgment, he decides to believe in it. That is ultimately why he pays the price, really.
I like that read, but when I read it recently, I was thinking along the lines of why would L say it, and everything L says is usually a Kira test. L usually uses this truth as manipulation tactic, so I think he has like this kernel of, I see the potential and I recognize that we click and this. However, all of these reasons make me question it, so even though I see the potential and this is a thing, it would not be the same, like it would not be this is true friendship, but I recognize the potential and all of this, and now I want to know what your reaction is to my statement. It's this I'm L statement where he tries to weaponize bits of truth. For different reasons. So it's, to me, this is not like an emotional, hey, you were my first friend ever, but more of a, oh, you're my first friend ever. You know, kind of thing. So I'm not disagreeing because I think, yes, they clicked and he recognizes this, but I don't think he would use this or make a statement to kind of just friendship and trust it. I would say he would use it as he uses truth in other instances to kind of get a reaction.
My read is, that's what he's telling himself. That's how the detective in him is justifying it. But under the hood, he's feeling it. And like in the end, it doesn't really, I'm not saying, oh, you're wrong or anything.
No, same here.
It's just...
I think it's an interesting read, and I agree. I think it's a very cool scene as well. It's just, damn, they click, and the lost potential, the tragedy is there. Even if it's a lie, it's there, because it's like, oh, you could have been, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It works in so many ways.
Like, it wasn't real, but it could have been.
Oh man. What if? No, but that's one of the reasons in retrospect and hindsight. I have to say, like, the Yotsuba Arc is one of my favorites, even though I still think the amnesia bit came out of left field. But no, it's one of the rules in the Death Note that if you forfeit, and then you have this late, oh my god, you know how many times I had to actually check why Soichiro was not able to recognize Light as Kira? After he made the ideal. That's why I forgot he made the ideal. Because I messaged you about this. I was like, I thought I remembered this bit, and I blah blah blah, and then what? Soichiro did what? Because to me I was like, how did he not know the Light was Kira? Because I don't remember that. And you thought it was funny, which, fair.
Yeah.
But the reason is, Light gave away the Death Note and he did the whole thing, so he was basically not remembering shit, but because he had a Death Note tied to himself and he touched it constantly, he kept the memories. And I'm like, what a convoluted fucking mess is this again?
Yeah, it's wild.
And that just means he remembers everything, he knows he's Kira, he knows how things work, but at the same time, his lifespan and his name and all of this that people see when they have made the Shinigami ideal, the one that Misa has, the one that now Soichiro made in the second half of the whole thing, means he is unable to see that Light is Kira.
Yep.
Because Light looks like every other normal person that did not touch a Death Note.
Yep.
It's brilliant, and actually I'm kind of glad. Thank you, Light.
Yeah.
Because Soichiro, it would have been such a blow after, I say, more than 5 years of Kira investigation. Through everything that Soichiro did, he let L do like the whole camera placement, and he checked everything, and he was like, be as thorough as possible, because if there's a suspicion, we need to check it. Cleared. But then, but we want it cleared. Even though his stress had him collapse, he went to Sakura TV. He went into confinement as soon as Light went into confinement, because he was like, no, if my son says this, I need to support, I need to just let me know if there's a difference, I'm gonna be in prison. He does the whole mock execution, which we will talk about again, because it's so damn intense. Because, L goes, oh, you want to prove your son's innocent? Let's do this. Take your son and his girlfriend, drive them out, tell them they're going to be executed, pull a gun out, shoot your son in the face with the blank, which is fucking dangerous. Like, this could have repercussions, by the way. Like, in real life, don't use blanks close range. Can actually still hurt people. Sorry, random bit, but oh my god, that would be bad. Don't do it. Don't use blanks like that.
I mean, don't use a gun, period.
Yes.
But yes.
Fair. He does all of this, and L tells him if one of them is Kira, Light might still kill him, and if Misa is Kira...
She will definitely.
Misa will kill to protect Light. So, you can prove your son's innocence. But this is dangerous for you. If you do that, you might die. And he goes, yes, I'll do it. And he went through the whole thing. Later as well, he is so focused on honor and doing the right thing and doing things as good as a way as you can. He doesn't kill Mello. He states the name and stuff after he makes the deal to make sure people can do what is done, but he does not kill.
Yeah.
Which is close to his death. And then he looks at Light and he's actually able to recognize, like, see that he has a name and lifespan. It's like, it wasn't him. I did right. And he dies. And I'm like, I'm kind of glad, but I am so sorry, man.
Yeah, man. It's like, oh, it's so rough, buddy. I'm kind of glad you don't know.
No, it's like innocence is bliss. God damn it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I have read takes on his character where it's like, because he's working so much with the police and he's not around home, clearly like not looking after his family because he's too focused on work, which is sometimes a bit of a struggle. Yeah. But I think they take it too far in saying he's a bad father because of that. I'm saying, like, every man is, like, every person is flawed. Mm-hmm. That is one of the points. And he is the one that kind of, like, taught this idea of right and wrong to Light and all of this. Also caught up in a musical, it's everywhere. But generally, I think he is actually a really good man. He's trying his best. He makes mistakes. He has flaws, but so does every human. We haven't really talked about much, with the exception of Matsuda, but like they're all very human. Yeah. L as a detective is already so out there because he's so smart and thinks so differently than the others, and then you have like the task force who has very human reactions. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Soichiro, what a guy. What a real one. Yeah. Yeah. Oh god. So by the book. In a very good way, really. Honor bound and bound by honesty. Yes. So easy to manipulate because of it. But like, Oh my god. Now I'm completely different. It was such a somber note, but I was thinking back to the shipping stuff and like the L Light stuff, and I was like, oh my god, the cameras, the freaking magazine. Oh, right. I mean, this is why you can read Light as gay or ace. I mean, he's, according to the volume, he's an ace student. I don't want to go too queer here, but I'm just saying it's really funny the way he's like, I have to be like a normal human student and stuff, and he gets like this cover and he just like skims through page by page, no reaction, nothing, you know, he's just going through it and this the next thing, and your son might not be Kira, but he gay. You know, I mean, Light knew he was being watched, so even if the point is he had to act as if he didn't know he was watched. So if he goes, I have to look at these questionable magazines to imply, yes, then I mean, to be fair, you can't really show that. Maybe it's implied that this is what was happening, but it's just his I don't really care about any of this.
Yeah,
Next
fair.
page. I don't really care about any of this. I'm like,
Fair.
yeah, no, I agree. I also don't care about any of this, but this is suspicious if you deliberately buy this and then don't
react to it.
He doesn't have to do anything. He can just be like, oh, cool.
Uh-huh,
But he
yeah,
doesn't
yeah,
do
yeah.
that. He just... Next page.
Yeah,
Next
that's
page.
true.
And if you don't have the inner monologue, you're like, what is he reading, a manual?
Yeah. Yeah. That's true. Yeah, you can definitely read him that way.
I mean, again, I don't read too much into it. It's more of a funny thing. I think that has to do with the limitations as well, because it would be weird to have this in a drama booklet. I'm not saying put that in. I don't think anybody minded. It's just, it's funny in hindsight, in retrospect,
Yeah.
if you look at it. Light's clear disinterest in Misa and all the girls, his rather weird views on the girls in general, and use of them, so it's like, therefore, in this
Yeah,
essay, I will
okay.
argue that he gay.
Careful, it's slippery slope from that to saying ace people don't actually care if other people get hurt. Yeah, I mean, his treatment of the women that get close to him is atrocious.
It's really bad.
Makes me angry. The Takada scene
It's really bad.
in the church?
No.
I'm like, dude, couldn't you... Like, there's a million other ways to do this. There's a million other ways to do this. This woman doesn't have to die.
There's some really bad stuff in there.
There's some really bad stuff. Yeah, I don't actually want to get into it too
No.
much, I think.
I think most people know by now that Death Note, specifically Light in that book, some very misogynistic and, questionable
Yeah.
moments. And I think that's it.
Though I think, like, if these had been guys, same difference. I think it's just his general disregard for
People?
the people that he uses. Like, he views them as tools, not people, and if they don't perform their function anymore, they're useless. If they mess up what they're supposed to do, they're useless. He gets angry, you know, me coming and all that.
Unless it's the Yotsuba Light, because Yotsuba Light, like, L goes, hey, Misa likes you, and even though it's one-sided, don't you want to use her? Like, and they're like, no! How dare you suggest such a thing? They're people.
I would never.
I would never.
Yeah.
Flashback to 10 pages beforehand,
Yeah.
where
yeah,
he kisses
exactly.
her to manipulate her.
And I think he really would never,
Yes.
if it wasn't something he could use in his function as Kira. Like, if he wasn't on this whole Kira trip, I don't think he would use people that way, but because he's doing this thing, he's justifying all of it. Amnesiac Light regards people as people again and not as tools. To Kira, they're just tools.
It makes it so sad the moment they actually apprehend Higuchi. Oh, also, the Yotsuba arc in general is really well done, because you didn't know which one of the group.
Which one of the executive members had the Death Note?
Because before that, it was less of a whodunit, but a howdunit.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
It turned into a whodunit.
because we knew why and how, but we were like, huh, who? And that was really, really well done. And Matsuda got to shine. Misa got to shine, actually.
Yeah, she did.
And then, we never talked about it, but then we have Light regaining his memory in a helicopter. And he realizes, all according to Keikaku.
Keikaku means plan.
Oh yeah, translate the note.
Yeah. Yeah. You...
Even though I absolutely paraphrased and referenced it, we never actually talked about the potato
No,
chip.
we never talked about the potato chip. You asked me in the beginning what I think of Light as a character, right?
Yes.
And I had this realization when I rewatched the anime for this podcast. I don't think we have to discuss that what Kira's doing with all the killings is wrong, morally speaking. But I think as a teenager, I empathized more with Light.
Huh?
And I think his characterization as a teenager, you know, where you have this sort of, oh, I'm gonna change the world sort of drive to you, potentially, makes sense. That bit of, he's the smartest guy on the block, always has been, he's bored, everything's easy for him, He has no real challenges he's facing. And he comes to this realization that, oh yeah, I can do this. I'm the only one who can do this. That sort of thinking and that sort of vigilante justice bit as well, where you're like, fuck the system, I can do better than that. I think that's a very teenage thing. I feel like some of the teenage audience of Death Note might actually resonate with that in the beginning quite a bit. And I think as you get older, the more you're like, no, actually, bad move, man. Bad move. Don't. And you start empathizing more with L and the investigation team. Though L also has these reckless elements to him. And I'm like, yeah, no. Light, no. No. His descent into madness is swift and complete, and he's basically irredeemable at that point. Like, he doesn't do it out of an innate desire to help people. He does it because he can, and he's fucking bored, and he thinks he's above it all. He thinks he can become this god of the new world. He's not concerned with the people's welfare, not really. He's just on an ego trip, and ultimately that's why I'm like, man, nah. Nah. I think I left out some things I wanted to say there, but like that's the gist of it. That's how I think about Light. I think he's a selfish guy who deludes himself into thinking he's some sort of savior. Like, I am 100% with L. I think L paraphrases it that way in an episode.
Childish and hates losing.
Where he's like, yeah, he's just a murderer with a god complex. And I'm like, yeah, I'm on that boat now. I'm completely on that boat now.
This is actually really interesting because 10 years ago as well, it's one of the reasons I didn't like the show that much. I didn't like Light. Mm-hmm. He was interesting as an antagonist. Mm-hmm. I guess that's where I also admit I really like detectives and stories. It's like, they're the fun ones. Mm-hmm. Akechi, I mentioned it. I gotta have an Akechi counter in this podcast, like whenever because every episode I can mention him, but Akechi, even though he was the villain in that one, I really like his character. Mm-hmm. It's just always like, okay, trying to work with the law, trying to recognize things, always kind of works. But L, very dubious morality and stuff, intrigued me, reminded me of the Sherlock Holmes thing, like the very strong vibe there. He has Weddy and Aber, their names. Like, he uses criminals, he has people, he's very much working with the law, but not all the time.
Yeah, he works with the law, but not always inside of.
The important bit is, the reason I really liked L very early on is, he admits it. He says it. You have this whole both, oh, we are justice, we are doing the thing, which is quoted of the different sides of justice, but both of them don't work with the police 100%. Both kind of like bend the rules. But L always admits to it. L is bold and true, and he's aware. Like, he says, my profile of Kira is that he is childish and hates losing. And the police goes, why? And he goes, well, I am childish and I hate losing, and he's smart, so therefore, probably
they are,
the same.
They are the same in that regard.
That's one of the reasons I really liked El more, because he did not delude himself. He was not a hero. He did bad things, like his treatment of Misa, let's be honest. Creepy and horrible, and just in general, the way he disregards certain things, like the privacy thing, he's not a good guy. He's not. But he is doing it for good, and he explains that he's aware that what he's doing is clearly outside of the boundary of what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But to him, the end justifies his needs. Zuichiro would say that is not good, because you need to stand moral and be above this, you can't do this, but that's just different in their characters. Meanwhile, Light would be the one that says, no, you're right, this is not what you do, but I am doing good.
Yeah.
I didn't like Light because of that. I thought he was interesting. Him getting like another thing out of another random rule, another random thing, I was like, you're just being mean to the guy who's actually doing the work and is honest about it. It's kind of annoying. So that's why I didn't like it that much, and this is also why I didn't like the Yotsuba Arc, because then it was like, now you're saying Light is so good. I didn't really do the analysis back there. I was just really annoyed by it and frustrated, and rereading it now, it's like, oh no, now I see the potential and how it like plays with this and what it implies of how just these events shapes people.
Yeah.
And the thought process.
Yeah, it's
and
really well done.
Adds this layer of tragedy and stuff, so that's why I like it a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But I always liked Elle the most, which is also the reason I stopped reading originally and stopped watching the show when Elle died.
After Elle died.
The one guy I kind of cared about what he thought is Dick.
Yeah.
And I have to admit, and this is where we kind of can shortly talk about some of the second half that we ignored. That was when I read online that the second half is rushed and wasn't so well done and that the characters are way too similar to Elle, and I read a lot of critique, so I wasn't interested in it.
Yeah.
In hindsight, I shouldn't have done that. I should have given it a go, because the story itself in the manga is not rushed. It has more details, it fleshes them out, and you can kind of see why they are like Elle, but they're not Elle. Like, it's very clear that they have bits and pieces that are just, oh, they were raised in a similar way, and this is kind of how you show it.
Yeah.
I just let myself believe. So this is on me that I never really got into the second half of it, but I still have to admit I'm just way too fond of the first half due to nostalgia.
I'm like, no, I can't talk about that now. But as far as the second half goes, you can really feel that it's rushed. Especially like in the anime, you really feel it. Even if you just look at the structure of the anime. I mentioned this to you before, but animes are usually divided into seasons that air in packages of like 12 to 13 episodes per season. And there's 4 seasons a year. And they air weekly, usually. And when you look at the structure of the Death Note anime, then we have about 25 episodes, so 2 seasons, of the first half of the show, where at the end of those 25 episodes, at the end of those 2 seasons, Elle is dead. And in the manga, that roughly happens at the halfway point of the story. So you would expect, okay, we're going to double this to about 50 episodes and have another 2 seasons for the second half. However, for the second half, the anime only takes 1 additional season. And you can really feel that. 37
episodes in total. And I feel like I haven't seen it. I have read the manga now. I have to say though, What's Up People, the intro, actually...
Banger.
I have to say I prefer Nightmares the World from the first season, but that's just because I really liked the visuals going with it. I liked the song a lot in this for the other one, but I really did not like the visuals the way they did that. I was like...
Yes,
but the song's good. Generally, the music in Death Note is really good. It is.
Do you know about the thing with Elle's theme and Mellow and Nia's theme?
No, I only know about the thing with Elle's theme and Light's theme.
Okay, so the thing with Elle's theme and Nia and Mellow's theme is that Mellow and Nia's theme...
Do they combine?
Yes.
Yes! Oh, that's so good!
They do.
That's actually so
good. They do.
Oh, that makes so much sense.
They combine into Light's theme. It's fucking rad.
Elle's theme, probably.
Yep.
No, but that's so cool.
Yeah, it's rad. It's so rad. I was listening through all the themes again, and like I was listening through all the themes, and I was listening to like Mellow's theme, because I feel like Mellow was underused.
Yes.
In the anime, Mellow was criminally underused and kind of...
Criminal?
Okay. Anyway, I listened to his theme and I was like, yeah. And like, if I had to map myself to any of the 3 detective characters, I would most closely align with Mellow.
Oh, you like chocolate?
I'm definitely the emotionally driven guy. When it comes to like spontaneous decision making, I'm a very emotional sort of person. I would like to pretend I'm completely rational, but I know I'm not when push comes to shove. I know I act on instinct a lot. And I do have that streak of I'll do what needs to be done. even if it's unpleasant. And so I'm like, yeah, Mellow, kind of feeling that. Also the rivalry they have going between Mellow and Nia, where Mellow's like, you know what, screw this, give it to Nia, I'm gonna do my own thing. It's like, yeah, I kind of vibe with that bit of, hey, I'm second best right now, but I'm gonna show you. In the end, they needed both Mellow and Nia to finish this whole bit.
That was an interesting take. Sadly, I don't know who it was because I watched and listened to a lot of Death Note stuff as well in preparation. Mm-hmm. But in one of the videos, they were like, it kind of makes sense that Mellow was the one who died because he was the emotional side representing L, basically. And L's flaw was that he still cared.
Yeah.
So the fact that this is basically repeated here due to the lack of cooperation between the two sides, pushing the weakness of Mellow like further in line, basically. That was a very interesting take.
Yeah.
And then I read the final chapter again, where even Nier is like, yes, we both are the ones that are able to surpass L. Both of us together, us alone wouldn't have worked and stuff. I'm like, oh yeah, no, I get it. I do like Nier's puppetry.
I hope they're more developed in the manga, because in the anime it's like, oh,
they are.
I hate the pacing in the second half. I just want to get this out of my system right now. Like, in the first half with L, it's this beautiful back and forth where, like, you see what Light's thinking and what he's planning, and you see what L's thinking and what he's planning, and then there's the resolution, and you're like constantly in the heads of those two people and how they scheme against each other. You see the back and forth, you see the ping pong match. And the problem I have with the second half is that with Mellow, Nia and Kira, you don't see the ping pong match until the final ball drops.
You missed a chance to say tennis match.
God damn it.
It's like, are you even a Death Note fan?
I scrapped the entire episode. Let's do this again. No, yeah. But yeah, that annoys me. That's like, it was such a good, it was so easy to follow. And that it ties into what you mentioned with your first read, where you went like, Nia, you lost me there, because like I anticipated that he anticipated, but I also anticipated that he would anticipate I anticipated, therefore I anticipated. And like that whole spiel, it gets so tiring very quickly when you only see like half of what is actually happening. So I structurally very much prefer the way they did it in the first half. Even though I understand why they did what they did in the second half. It's like, you can just see the seams.
Yeah. One thing I still think is funny as well is, why didn't Ryuk kill Light during the 5 years in between? Because we have a time skip after L dies.
Yes, we do.
I kind of thought about it because of the way the musical ends, because we are not aware of what's happening in these 5 years. It's kind of, 5 years, not much happened, but now the situation is worse. And I'm like, what did Light do? Just give Ryuk apples? It's like, no, it's gonna be fun. Watch this. Take the apple, I can juggle. I mean, to be fair, he's building up a lot. In those 5 years, like, the situation has completely changed. But we are now introduced to the new threat that is near, and I'm just like, how long would Ryuk actually have cared or stayed with this if nothing else happened? We can't know, but that was a personal question I had, because if Ryuk is kind of working as an audience surrogate, why is there nothing? But you kind of had to put a time skip in there, because else it would have been too fast-paced. No time to develop, I guess.
No budget, maybe. It's possible that Light sold it to him, like, or that Ryuk sold it to himself, like, okay, technically, he's now walking the line where he's investigating himself, and he has to do it convincingly enough that the rest of the police doesn't catch on, but he also still has to do his actual thing. Maybe he just found that interesting enough, I don't know. But yeah, it's a bit like,
Personally, I mean, to be fair, the Shinigami world's very boring, so maybe this is entertaining enough and you can still see some stuff. But think about it. Rem is dead. There were no other Shinigami for a while that he knew of. There's not much he can do. And only Light to talk to. And Light, you know, we've heard Light talk. It's like, come on, man. I would go insane.
Fair.
I think it's the apples.
It's probably the apples. Yeah.
It's a silly thought. Also, when you watch the anime, back to the first half, whenever L's theme comes in and you're like, okay, what's going on? This is going to be interesting. It's like, you hear the piano and you're like, okay, I'm watching, I'm listening.
I'm here, yeah.
It's like, on. That theme is so done. Like, Light's theme is good. I like it, and it really catches the vibe. And I like that it has bits of piano in there, because it's already implying the rivalry. And L's theme, even though it starts with just piano, it has a lot of guitar in there, because he is heavily focused on Kira. And that his theme includes that makes a lot of sense. This is me doing very basic surface music theory, because I have no clue how it works, and that's just what I noted when I was listening to it, where I'm like, okay, I recognize this similarity, and they also used that in the musical, therefore probably true. But don't take my word, I did not do music analysis in my life. But it's just L's theme was so good, it's memorable. You can play a few notes and bam, you're back to Death Note.
Yeah 100%.
This is the thing. Light's theme, even though he's the main character, people really like, oh, I've heard that before. Not 100% sure. You have either Nightmare playing the world, basically, and people are like, oh, that's Death Note. Or you have L's theme, and people are like, Death Note.
Yeah.
It's like, that's it.
100%. It is fantastic. I love it too.
And I mean, you have the drama for the potato chip scene.
They knew how to sell those.
The religious imagery.
Yeah, they had some good shit.
The drama.
I want to throw one thing in there I've held back.
Ooh, throwing it in the window.
This is going to start with a recommendation that has an asterisk on it. If you like Death Note and you haven't seen it yet, and you want more like it, like you want a similar sort of vibe to a show, as in what it's about, kind of thematically, but want to see a very extreme foil to Light, go watch Code Geass.
Oh.
Code Geass is one of my favorite shows of all time, and it has plenty of flaws. Like, it has plenty of issues, ranging from like anime tropes that are overused to like pacing issues every now and then. But its main protagonist, holy heckin' shit, I have to talk about Lelouch for just like 5 minutes. So, because like people often draw the comparison between Lelouch and Light. I watched both shows for the first time in very close proximity. After I watched Death Note, it was maybe a couple months when I first watched Code Geass. And Code Geass at the time was currently airing and was running its first season. And to make it very brief, Code Geass is about a world, like it's a sci-fi thing in the future, where a nation called Britannia, that's funnily enough based in the US for some reason, has basically done a colonization effort again and taken most of the world under its wing through military power. There's also like a Chinese sort of federation and something akin to the EU, but basically the entire rest of the world belongs to Britannia, which is a very obvious kind of parallel to the British Empire that we had in the past and all that. And the story follows Lelouch, who, because this is an anime, is in Japan, and he's a British prince in exile in Japan. And his mum was murdered when he was a small kid. Because of that, he lost his status. He was sent to Japan as a political prisoner together with his disabled sister. He was basically crippled in the assassination of their mother. So he's hanging out in Japan, and he sees what the Empire is doing to the world. He's like, okay, they've colonized all of this, and it's like very strict, very military. There's like blatant racism everywhere. Like, it's all about, you know, the Britons are, or the Britannians, I should say, are the one true race and all that, and all the others are just fit to be ruled, but not to rule. Only the Britannians can rule, right? That sort of ideology. That's the sort of ideology that's coming out of the Emperor's mouth, who's his father. And he essentially has two goals. He wants to confront the Emperor and topple the system, and he wants to figure out who killed his mother all those years ago. That's what he's about, really. And then he gets his moment where he receives the power, but it's not just a notebook that falls from the sky and he finds it. he witnesses a crash of a truck. And the truck is, unbeknownst to him, being driven by terrorists who are smuggling something. He sees this crash. He's on the road with a friend. He sees this crash. He sees all the people taking their phones out, taking pictures because, oh my God, what's happening there? And he has this thought of, man, people, right? There's just been an accident. Nobody's calling an ambulance yet. They're all just standing there spectating, taking photos to post on whatever social media platform. He's like over it. He actually goes in and tries to help. And he's like, hey, are you okay in there? He climbs into the truck, trying to see what's happening to help people. And then the truck gets into motion again. He gets abducted, essentially. And there's a whole kerfuffle where eventually the military pursuing these terrorists finds the truck and finds him in it. And they think he's a terrorist. And there's a magical girl in a box in there. I'm skipping a bit. But like, there's a magical girl in a box. That's what the military's trying to retrieve. The military's about to shoot him. Magical girl shields him, takes the hit instead. And he's like, shit, this is how I die, huh? Like, he just wanted to help. And before he's about to be shot, the supposedly dead girl grabs his hands. You get a little cutscene where they do the deal, where she's like, yo, you want to live? I can help you live. And she gives him the power called Gias, which allows him to give orders to people he makes eye contact with. Like, as long as he makes eye contact, he can give them any order he wants, they will follow it to the letter. And he receives that power, uses it to kill the military guys who are about to shoot him. That's how he gets out of it. And the rest of the series is him trying to use that power to topple the British Empire and figure out what the Britannian Empire, sorry, fellow Brits, topple the Britannian Empire, and figure out what happened to his mum. That's what it's about. And he gets this power because he wants to help people. Just because he had the impulse to go into that situation to genuinely help people, he ended up in a situation where he received this power. And it never gets to his head in the same way it goes to Light's head. He's very aware that what he's doing in the end is wrong because he ends up killing a lot of people. And he knows this. He's acutely aware of it. But he's doing it because he genuinely wants the world to be better. And he wants the world to be better for his sister and for the people he cares about. And that never leaves his mind. No matter what he does, it's always like, I'm doing this for them. Initially for his sister, but once his whole spiel starts gaining traction, he's like, this is no longer just about us. This is about everyone. And I have to make this work. And yeah, it's very interesting, but also very high contrast to Light, because he never quite develops that god complex.
It's quite a contrast. It's not so dark.
Oh, it's...
No, because...
almost darker at stages.
No, because you said light contrast.
Jesus.
Oh, what would be a world without light? A bit dark.
Dark, yes. Yeah, that was my little thing about Code Geass. Go watch it. It's wonky. It's so many genres rolled into one. It gets super wonky, but like, just for this character alone, it's worth watching. Mm-hmm. Just so you can contrast Lelouch and Light. It's like, I'm saying this now, Lelouch would have won.
The funny thing is, I remember us watching one episode because you wanted to show it to me, and I was like, that's really good. And then I never watched another episode. It was actually good, though. I do remember when you started, I'm like, oh yeah, no, I do know. I remember the series. One thing I also realized we didn't really mention before, to kind of go once more back to Death Note.
Yeah.
L's name.
Right.
It's great. I love the secrecy. Just imagine, because Light never officially knows the name, I think, because it was Rem who wrote it.
Yeah.
But just imagine him being able to actually see it after all of that shit that he went through. Mm-hmm. I wish I could see his face. Good choice. Whoever came up with that idea for the name, good choice.
You have to help me because I don't remember. What is it?
L.
Like L as in E-L?
No, just the letter L. His name is letter L. Lovely.
Jesus.
Alright. Just imagine making the ideal. Looking at the guy that says he's L and it just says L above it.
It's like, you fucking stupid.
He took the L, you know. It's like.
Oh my god, yeah, that's fantastic.
No, it's like every time I think about it, it makes me laugh so hard because like L just actually uses his name as a freaking handle. It's like I can't tell you my name. He'll use my alias.
My alias.
Alias. That's so funny to me. It's like every time I think about it, every time. That came to me when you talked about names and gears, and I was like, oh yeah, that was what it was called, and I was like, oh, and that was what L was called. No, but thank you for that light recommendation. Sorry I talked so much about the musical, but it's a good one. Check it out.
No, it's good. I should watch it. You all should watch it. Let's just watch the musical. Listen to it, really. That would be good. And I do want to read the second half of the manga at the very least. Like, I want to know how they did it in the manga, because I feel like it has to be better. Like, if it's only as good as the anime, I'm gonna be disappointed.
No, it has a lot more, and like Nia's puppetry and stuff, like the way he uses it, is very well done. Like, panel choices were good. Do an outro.
Do an outro. Make me. No.
Oh, I'll write down your name.
I knew they were going to say that. That's perfect. What?
The Taylor Swift parody.
The Taylor Swift parody?
Another YouTuber, Nate Wants to Battle, did years ago a parody. That one, I was like, oh yeah, I just need your name. Got a blank page, baby.
You could also do like a parody of like, you know, the Casino Royale theme song?
Yes.
You Know My Name? You could also play with that, probably. Anyway, do an outro, she says.
I mean, I can do an outro.
Sure.
So, I thank you for being here.
I thank you for also being here.
Okay, I tried. I can find you and your other stuff on Cherrigan LP on Twitch, right?
Yep.
You can find me here in Podcast Hell. That's what I do. Our stuff is currently also in Podcast Hell, and soonish somewhere else. And that you will find in the description. So thank you so much, and until next time, I'm Mischief.
And I'm Cherrigan.
Bye.